Here are the 5 most costly mistakes I've seen real estate investors make, and number 5 is probably the biggest one. Number 1, not understanding depreciation. One of the most common mistakes I see real estate investors make is they just straight up forget depreciation. Line 18, it's not even there. And this is going to be one of your largest expenses, especially if you know accelerated depreciation methods. You really don't want to forget about this deduction. Not to mention, it is a mandatory expense, and whenever you go to sell your asset, the IRS will want you to calculate your gain with depreciation recapture. They will make you claim this depreciation recapture whether you claim the deduction or whether you didn't, so make sure you get that benefit. Number 2, not having the right team in place. Rental income is considered passive, but if you invest in real estate, you already know that it's the furthest thing from actually being passive. Things break, and unless you have a team ready to take on that issue at a moment's notice, you could be doing it wrong. And unless you have a team ready to take on that issue at a moment's notice, things could be pretty tough on you. Make sure you have a good contractor or a good handyman in that area that can take care of miscellaneous things. Also, if this is something that just sounds too much for you, make sure you vet and find a good property manager, because a lot of these property management companies can take over a lot of these tasks for you, and they can make sure that things run a lot more smoothly for your real estate investments. Not properly crunching the numbers. I see way too many people who are just so gung-ho ready to jump into real estate that they don't even actually crunch the numbers. And even if they do crunch the numbers, sometimes they leave out mistakes. They don't always calculate potential breaks or potential capital expenses that they would have to incur as the property ages over time. Also, don't invest for the tax purposes alone. Always make sure that you invest to make money. You want to see the highest return on your investment, and even though taxes does play a role in your overall return on investment, the tax benefits just enhance your overall return. It's not the actual goal of investing in real estate. So make sure you are investing in a cash flowing property. Number 4, trying to do complicated transactions without a reliable tax advisor on hand. Are you trying to do a 1031 exchange? Trying to go at it alone? Do you know about the 45 and 180 day rules? Do you know about boot? Do you know all of the specific rules that go into a 1031 exchange? What about opportunity zones? What about installment sales? Are you actually looking at all of the different options by yourself, or are you doing this with a trusted tax advisor who has seen this done before and has seen other mistakes that other investors have made and can take that wisdom and pass it along to you? So always make sure you find a tax advisor that is trusted and knows your situation, and don't just try to go at it alone, because I've seen some very costly mistakes made on DIY projects. And number 5 is not having a proper lease agreement for your tenants. Having an LLC is great, and it can provide some legal protection. Make sure you have a lawyer who is familiar with landlord laws in your state. Draft up a lease contract that you give to all of your tenants that they sign. Not doing this could potentially put you at risk of a nasty lawsuit. There's all sorts of different people out there, and unfortunately, some people are just looking for a come up. So if you really want to protect yourself from any nasty lawsuits, and trust me, I've seen some terrible ones, you will want to make sure you have a good lease contract in place.